2, or Borat, the subsequent movie film. As always, I'm your host, Daniel, here with my father, Jerry. Say hi, Dad.
Oh,
Okay, well, this is, I guess, the second Borat, the second Borat movie. The first one obviously came out in, I think, 2006, was it? With, and at the time it was a huge success for a film. Uh, Massively critically acclaimed as well for a comedy. And it got people talking, to say the least. Which I think this one, I don't think there was much of a they did stuff so it could come out before the election. If you see the movie, you know why. But I guess we should kind of talk about it before we talk about the ending scene to begin with,
mhm.
somewhat. I found it kind of interesting that Sacha Baron Cohen brought back the Borat character, because he said you really couldn't do these types of movies anymore because everybody has their cameras out now, and obviously Borat himself became very popular. Um,
the
yeah,
uh, well, I think it was one of the unusual things about the movie is he's able to take the live action scenes and put them into the movie almost seamlessly.
yeah, and I don't know when this movie was started to shooting, but clearly a lot of footage is from this year, and the movie was heavily uh, influenced by this year, with the pandemic and everything. So I don't know when it exactly began, the shoot, but they have a lot of stuff with the pandemic. Came out recently that they got into the White House. I believe that was sometime in September, even, um, which was probably when the movie was already done or about done, editing wise.
Yeah.
Uh, this time, Borat's back after 14 years. He comes to the country to give a gift after they became the laughing stock from last time, and through a series of mixed shenanigans, the gift becomes his 15-year-old daughter, um, who I guess we should kind of get right into it. Uh, a lot of this movie has obviously to do with the traditional Borat gags, but this time the main theme of it, compared to last time, that had a lot to do with xenophobia. I guess it has to do with xenophobia, but also like uh, misogyny this time more so than anything, and treatment of women in America.
Hmm.
Uh,
And yeah, I'd say that is true. He goes over a lot more different areas.
yeah, I'd say the last one was much more razor focused on
Yeah.
kind of that. It did have degrees of the other stuff in. I mean, I think the main theme of the Borat character in general, and a lot of the characters he plays, just kind of show like, hey, you're not that much different than these third world countries, or these countries with backwards things in America,
Yeah.
or in Britain when he did the LHE show.
Mhm.
Um, I think that's well on display here. Um, I know I wanted your opinion on this, because I know you don't like hidden camera shows for the most part.
Mhm.
You don't mind things like Impractical Jokers because it's largely them making fun of themselves, but you don't
Mhm.
like it when it just kind of goes after random people. Uh,
Mhm.
with Borat, I don't feel like it seems like it's not really going after the people for the most part, unless it's something very specific, unless it's some of the more kind of disgusting aspects of the
Yeah.
people. But for the most part, like when he's giving the guy a haircut, or when he's like in the electronics store in this one,
Yeah.
uh, he's just kind of playing a bizarre character that's doing weird things, and it feels like you can kind of laugh along with these people.
Well, a lot of that is that he's playing a bizarre. Borat, he's playing this bizarre character
Hmm.
that he gets in with people, and it's somewhat that you can laugh along with them,
Yeah.
and the people somewhat get into that
Hmm.
who are
Uh,
doing it with it.
yeah. I mean, for the most, I mean, some of the stuff, I mean, for the most part, a lot of the longer sections with the people tend to be with some of the more disgusting people he runs into.
Yeah,
Like he does a lot with some like QAnon,
yeah,
conspiracy theorists, far right conspiracy theorists, and obviously, and this was one of the things that was kind of blown before the movie came out. He went to a one of those anti-vaccine things and did a like racist sing along, and he shows the crowd sing along with it and agree to do like gas them like the Germans do to scientists and stuff.
yeah,
Uh, but like when he goes to there's obviously the woman who drops off his daughter, who uh, the film portrays her as a great human being.
mhm,
She tries to help both him and his daughter, and tries to make them feel like they're people, and goes against what they've been taught. These
yeah,
terrible, terrible things from Kazakhstan, like women can't drive, uh, in their kind of bizarre book that they have, and women can't read and whatnot. Um,
the
yeah,
the thing that gets you about the movie is that you'll get into some of the characters that he's dealing with, and it, you won't realize that these are real characters almost. I mean, you realize that, but it takes you a while to do that.
yeah,
They aren't really actors. I mean, he is real. He did a real good job of seaming it together.
yeah.
How
Well,
he did that is sort of hard to say, but he did it.
yeah. Well, I mean, one, he obviously I don't know how he gets them to sign the releases. Like that's the one thing I don't know.
Yeah,
Some of that stuff it made sense. Like they were at that big rally, so a lot of that they were
yeah,
in CPAC. So
yeah, hmm,
a lot of that I'm sure is just like public domain stuff. But and obviously like the people that he's kind of with in good spirits to or whatever. But how he
yeah,
got it at like the plastic surgery clinic.
yeah,
Like I mean before he's saying he's a newsman. So and I don't know that, but like 'cause I mean the plastic surgery thing is really pretty disgusting.
yes,
That they're gonna perform it on this teenage girl
yes,
that I know I think she's like 24 or 25 in real life, but in the film they say she's a teenager. Um, she looks like it at first, but then when she gets made up, really doesn't. But I'll bring that up a bit later. Who I don't know her name, and I know they've released different names of the actress that it is. Uh, First they said they found her somewhere, and then they in the movie she's found in a barn. She wants to be like Melania and live in a golden cage. Uh, but she does a really good job as his daughter. And I don't know if she's quite as good with the comedy as he is, but she does a pretty good job in her individual scenes and when she's with him.
yes.
Um, but yeah, uh, what's the words I'm looking? I'm looking for something. Um, Obviously, I mean, obviously, I think compared to the first movie, I don't know if it's as good. Uh, and because I think it lacks some of that razor focus of the first movie. I think the first movie's like 10, 15 minutes shorter. But neither of them are super long movies. But I think the first movie might be a bit funnier, but I still found this one a bit funny. Though I still think usually like the starts of his almost all of his movies tend to be the funniest. This Bruno, the original Borat, um,
Mhm.
the scene of the stockbrokers committing suicide is great
Yeah,
in Kazakhstan. Uh, but uh, obviously, this has generated a lot of controversy, especially around Rudy Giuliani, um, with I guess with seeing that for the most part you know about now, where he quote unquote is tucking his shirt in his pants when he's with his daughter, Borat's daughter. No, I don't know if they told him she was 15. She looks a lot like one of those, I guess, alt-right news figures or whatever from all the, because they all look the same, young blonde women. Uh, and that's not me being stereotypical. That's me saying uh, the majority of big ones are young blonde women. Tommy Lauren, Lauren Southern. Um, I don't know of any others, uh, but they all look same. But I mean, obviously, like there was that whole thing with Fox News, how they all had blonde women, too.
Yeah.
Um,
The actually Borat 2, or this
hmm
subsequent
Yeah,
movie film,
whatever you call
uh,
it.
got an 85 on Rotten Tomatoes,
Yeah.
and the original one got a 91.
Okay, so they're not too far off
Yeah,
compared to what it originally. Yeah, I figured this. I figured it. I, I knew it was doing well with the critics, and I didn't know how well if it was much better or much worse. But uh, this
well,
one,
the original one was real original.
yeah, the
I
original
mean,
one. I mean, the original one like was. I think the original one like had the ability of it was something completely new at the time.
yeah,
Um, I guess the only real person that was doing this stuff was him with like the Ali G show and all that stuff.
hmm,
With now you have kind of more like internet characters doing it, and you have like obviously the problem of cell phones and stuff, so people
yeah,
videotape it, so you kind of can't really do it anymore. Um, the uh, the original one I think had, like I said, it was more razor focused, but in fairness, they were shooting this during a year that all of a sudden had a pandemic.
yeah,
And I thought they worked that into the movie actually really well.
yes,
In a lot of the stuff in it. Obviously, I'm sure most of this stuff isn't shot in the same order it appears in the film, but I don't know. The pandemic heavily plays into the end of the film as well as that. The one thing I was wondering on you, do you think they called that scene with Rudy Giuliani earlier than they intended to because they weren't sure what he was doing and were worried about the actress?
I don't know. It seemed like they did.
Yeah, I
Seemed
know
like
they.
they got her out of there quickly.
Yeah, I know because to me it kind of seemed like that, and look, I know there's a fight over what he was doing and what he wasn't doing, whatever.
Yeah,
Um, watch, and I know they've said, well, they've increased it by showing it at different camera angles. They blah 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 blah. I don't know. I think personally they should release like a full clip from one of the camera angles unedited to kind of dissuade that. I don't know what they're gonna do on it, but either which way, even if he was just tucking in his shirt, it didn't look right, and I understand why they did it.
well, the whole thing didn't look right with
Yeah,
Rudy.
the like
I mean, it was a whole atmosphere, and
Yeah, I mean, he was clearly creeping on her. There's no
yes,
argument there with some of the stuff he said. And admittingly, she was doing some things that were slightly flirty to him,
yeah,
but nothing too.
hmm,
And I mean, they obviously got I think they probably got more than the response they wanted, but I mean but it also kind of went in theme with the theme of the thing on
yeah,
that like because that the one time she essentially talks to some person who's another gold digger. Uh,
yeah,
the daughter, and they talk and how they like high five at one point, and the woman's just giving her this terrible, awful, disgusting advice.
yes,
That, but again, that goes along with the theme of, hey, America's not as different as a lot of these third world countries is in many ways.
yes,
Um, I was gonna say, I mean, at the end, they definitely poke fun at a lot of the stuff that's going on. It was revealed Kazakhstan was the cause of the coronavirus,
yes,
which I thought was actually pretty funny.
yes,
That their ultimate revenge was this after 14 years, and they sent Borat all around the world, which they do something pretty funny with Matt Travel and having him just go this whole stupid path. Then you find
uh,
out why.
I like the Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson one.
That was a good joke
Yeah,
with them. That whole thing, uh, the whole ending with them changing the running of the Jews to the running of the Karens,
yeah,
with them gunning down Dr. Fauci. Uh, but I mean, I also think like on it. In fairness, the story with him and his daughter and becoming closer and
yeah,
him loving her more than his male sons at the end, I
yeah,
thought was done pretty sweet.
yeah,
Which another thing I think they did well is a lot of the callbacks. Like they have a callback with his neighbor. They have a callback to like the Mankini with now the Maskini and stuff. That was obviously featured heavily in the promos for this, as well as in the picture we're showing right now of the film's poster.
yeah.
Uh, I think this would have done really well at the box office, like the original did probably if it was released.
Yeah,
Because I think like at the end of the day, you can take the stuff away, and the movie's still pretty funny.
yeah.
It's consistently funny throughout the film. Maybe not as funny as the first one, but it does it well. And obviously, Sacha Baron Cohen is just amazing as Borat.
Hmm.
We talked about how good he did as Abby Hoffman. He's just as good as Borat as a
Yes.
character, and how you never know it was the same guy. Um, I always thought that was impressive with the Borat coming out, then 2 years later Bruno coming out, and people didn't realize it was him
Hmm.
just because they're two different characters. As well as I know he has that show, I think Who Is America, where he plays a bunch of different people and got like Roy Moore and a few other people and just doing strange things.
Hmm. Well, that's what he
Yeah.
started off on, and then came up with this film. I think.
Yeah, well, like I said, there's the Ali G show, which I've never seen the Ali G show, but he plays a bunch of bizarre characters that do that.
Hmm.
I was going to say, I don't have much more to say about this. Do you have anything else you'd want to add, like any other parts you'd want to talk about, or
The actually
yeah,
the it actually started in early 2019, the movie. At least some of the pranks.
hmm
However, uh, many of the pranks were even really late
yeah.
in the thing.
Well, they obviously have one at CPAC. I believe it was this year.
Yeah.
And I know they released something where they got the daughter in, and I don't know if this didn't make the cut of the movie because it was out too late or something. I want to say it was sometime in September, but it was sometime recently, within the past like 2 months, I want to say, that they got her into the White House as a part of One America News Network or whatever,
Yeah.
uh, which is another far right conspiracy news network. Um, they got who again his daughter, which I think is like Tartar in the film or Tatar or something.
Yeah.
Uh, but I guess that's interesting. So yeah,
The,
so
the they say in one of the places
mhm.
he was spotted some of the times when he was doing it.
Yeah, well, I think they show that, and I know obviously like him singing that racist song at the
Yeah.
convention. That was obviously recorded, and people knew that was him.
Hmm.
Uh, Borat puts on multiple disguises in this movie too,
Yeah.
which is which in itself is a pretty good joke that this fake character has to wear disguises because he's too well known.
Yeah.
Still 14 years later. Um, but yeah, I knew that. I remember vaguely like the Ku Klux Klan thing he did, hearing about that. I don't remember if it was this year or last year.
Yeah. The Giuliani scene was in July of 2020,
Okay, so
and they figured out the fake interview, but they said it,
mhm.
and as you said, it looks that way in the movie that he did burst in
Yeah,
to the thing, and Giuliani actually called the police on him.
I knew that. I knew he actually talked about, and I do think like he actually talked about he was afraid for his life at making this at a few points, and he
Well,
talked to, yeah, and I know
allegedly he wore a bulletproof vest.
that like honestly, that doesn't surprise me. At the big rally he did for the masks and stuff, the
Yeah, yeah.
anti-mask rally, I'm assuming. I forget what it was. It was some other far right rally. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it shows in the film like there's a lot of people there with guns. And I mean, he got some Nazi salutes for singing some of the stuff. So, uh, I mean, I can see why he wore a bulletproof vest there.
I don't know if he wore it there. They don't really say, but they said on two of the days he filmed, he wore a bulletproof vest.
Okay, I know he talked about at some point that that was the most scared he was while filming it. So I'm assuming that's where it was, but I don't know. It could have been something else. But I mean, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, I think that about wraps it up. Don't you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, again, thank you for your time. And if you're listening to this on YouTube or watching this on Twitch, please remember to like and subscribe. And have a great night, everybody.
Okay.
I guess I should say we'll be back with Halloween and ET. though I don't know how long those will run. But bye.
But